Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Money Mindset. Today, I'm going to start a new series where we analyze and research a stock using the 5 steps that I overlaid in a previous video, and I'll link that video in the description. I'll also put it in the video for you to watch. Today, we're going to start off with the Microsoft stock. We're going to start easy here, and then if you guys have any suggestions or if I find any other stocks we can review, we'll go over them using my method here. The first step is to understand the business. We're going to go to the Microsoft website and we're just going to figure out what they do. Obviously, this is Microsoft. We already know the products and services that they have. For the purpose of this video, we'll just go in and look through some of them. So obviously we've got the software and the operating system, Windows. They've got cloud, they've got IT, entertainment, they got the Xbox. But some stuff that you might not know, just a quick Google search here. What companies does Microsoft own? So if we go down the list, we've got Activision Blizzard. They make video games like Overwatch, Call of Duty. They own LinkedIn, GitHub for software development, Mojang, which owns Minecraft, and a bunch of other companies. You see Skype here. You might think Skype's not really used anymore, but they had access to all the patents owned by Skype. Going back to step 1, we know what they sell. Do they sell products and services that I would use? I am using a Microsoft computer for work. I'm using PowerPoint right now. I use Teams. I have an Xbox. I've used Minecraft. I'm a huge Microsoft consumer. So this category I would say is great. Next, let's look at the stock information. So let's take a look at the price right now, $239.23. This year we went down to $213.43 and the high was $315.95. So we're sitting towards the lower end. Volume, obviously high volume because this is one of the top traded stocks. The beta, this means if the stock market declined 1% in a year, Microsoft declined 0.93%. So it's outperforming the stock market. Since the stock market has been declining, Microsoft has been declining less than the stock market. We can gain that from knowledge from the beta here. The P ratio, just Googled P ratio history for Microsoft. We've got a chart here that just shows what the P ratio was back in history. I guess during the bull market of 2020 to 2022 around, we were in the 30 range. However, right now we're sitting at 25.75. We're not as low as we were before, but there's similar companies here with different P ratios. We just don't want to see negative, obviously, when we're looking at a stock, but Microsoft obviously is not going to be negative. As you can see here, companies with a P ratio over 30 or negative are growth stocks, and companies with a P ratio below 10 are generally seen as value stocks. Don't base your investment decision off of this. It's just one metric. I'm more interested in the company. I'm not as interested in the stock. If it's a good company, I want to buy it. Let's take a look at the dividend. We've got 1.14%. They pay a dividend. This is what we want. Some stocks don't, but we'll get into that later in another video. So now let's head over to the next step. Look at the financials. So let's take a look at the income statement. Basically, just what we want to see is the profit increasing every year? Quarter to quarter, it may be decreasing slightly, but the year over year is that's mainly what we want to see. So we just want to see it. Are they growing profits? Do they have too many liabilities? How much cash do they have? Things like that. So yes, we can see they've been growing in profit. We can check out quarterly. It's remaining pretty much consistent. This year has been pretty tough for all companies, so I wouldn't expect them to be growing much in profit. I'd expect them to be cutting down employees, honestly, at this point. Seeing that they're maintaining their profits throughout the quarters just shows that they're a good company. Let's take a look at the balance sheet. We can see that their assets, they're growing. Don't need to really look too much into the balance sheet besides just look at the cash position. So that would be in current assets. You see cash equivalents. We can see that their cash position is actually declining. So keep that in mind. And let's look at their debt. Their debt is also declining. I'd assume that they're paying off debt or they're using their cash for other investments. You can look at to see where they're putting their cash, are their assets growing, are they buying assets, are they paying off debt? Just look at that kind of stuff. We can head over to statistics and just look at some of the financial highlights here. We've got the profit margin of 34.37%. It's very good. Just look through here and see if everything's good. Number 4, we're going to look at the holders and see the insider trading. Go to holders here. 0.06% of shares held by insiders, and there's quite a few institutions holding shares. So let's look at the top institutions. It's more useful for smaller stocks, or if you want to see who's invested in it. For Microsoft, it's not that important because lots of companies will have an allocation towards Microsoft, lots of institutions. So it's not as important for here for this purpose, but if we analyze a smaller stock or a stock that's less well known or less value, this will come in handy to see what the money is in. So now let's take a look at the insider transactions. So we can see what everyone has been doing. You see a bunch of sales, right? Sale, sale, sale. Not a lot of buying. And this was right around 2021, 2022 when the market was topping. These officers and the CEO, they're all selling their stocks. So this is a great indication how the stock has performed. We just look at the 5-year chart. Look at when they're selling. They're selling all up here. And now we're down here. Obviously, they knew that these officers, they knew that price was overvalued and they just wanted to cash out. Now we can read the news. For Microsoft, we've got news down here. Some of this stuff is clickbait. You could also just look up Microsoft and then just go to the news section. And now you've got all the top news. You've got Microsoft betting big on ChatGPT, problems with the Activision deal. Basically, that's just Google and Nvidia. They've got problems because they think that now Microsoft owns most of the video games. Microsoft can have like a monopoly over that sort of stuff. So just go through here and see what's up with Microsoft. What have they done? Done that, we've read the news. Now let's put it together. The only issue that I saw was their cash position was falling. However, their debt was also falling. They could have been using that cash to pay off debt, which is a good thing because now in this economy, you do not want to be over levered. Too much leverage, too much debt right now is not a good idea. Lots of companies could go bankrupt in the coming year or coming years. I feel like that's a good decision. The price right now, it has rallied a bit. I do think overall that this is a great stock to buy, in my opinion. Basically, when we put everything together, when you're analyzing a stock, you can make a pros and cons table, just anything to compare pros and cons of the stock. The economy not looking great right now. Tech stocks don't tend to do very well in these conditions. We're gonna buy. However, we're not going to buy right now. We're going to enter staggered based off of this research. I like it. That's just an example of how I would do my research. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, rate, and subscribe.